Hey, it's James, Parents' Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. I'm going to start saying parents' rights and resources because I got so many women clients nowadays, and a lot of women reach out to me at first and say, do you help women? I know you help fathers, but you seem to know what you're talking about, etc. So, this video is about just asking people to ask yourself, do you really care about your case? Do you really care about your kids? I know I harp on stuff like this, but do you really want to fight on your case, or do you want somebody to hand you a freebie and bend over backwards and accommodate you and give you a welfare handout because you feel entitled to somebody help you out in your case because you have a constitutional right to your kids? Yeah, we already know you have a constitutional right to your kid. The government shouldn't be interfering with your right to your kid. The court system is corrupt. And your life with your kid is on the line. You guys out there, if somebody stole your car, you'd be running up and down the street going after it. If you lost your pet, you would be putting flyers on telephone poles. Well, we don't really have telephone poles anymore. On every street corner and offering a reward. But when you lose your kid, you guys just sit around and say, oh, well, I'm going to pay a lawyer to do it. I'm going to stick my head in the sand like a cowardly ostrich. I'm going to trust the guardian ad litem to do this for me. I'm going to trust the judge to make the right decision. Even though every one of you has seen a movie with a court scene, or you've seen Law and Order, and you see both sides have to actually fight for justice, and sometimes one side lies, or somebody is wrong, or a witness has a mistaken identity. For some reason, men think, especially men particularly, think that family court is different than any other area of life, and it's supposed to be fair and perfect. And if you don't win in court, you get to whine and cry and piss and moan like a little fruity little sissy coward baby, and you don't got to stand up and fight for what's just, and you don't have to put any effort forward. And people think you'll spend $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 on an attorney. And here I am with information you've never seen before. And people ask me a bunch of dumbass questions in the comments and vague questions and want me to go back and forth with them for days on end instead of just getting a consult with me. I'm not doing that stuff. Some of you people either have a learning disability, you're stupid, you're lazy, or you feel entitled. And so you might as well quit now on your case, because I get people all the time, although they're very few, it's one out of 1,000. And I know I don't look politically correct. And I know some people are going to say, that's bad business to sit there and talk to somebody. Like, is it bad business for a general to cuss a soldier out in boot camp? Or a drill sergeant, I mean, when they're about to go off to war and get killed? Is it bad for a coach to make a kid do gassers and run sprints up and down the field? He's inflicting pain and suffering upon him and telling him he's being a little wimp and he better man up and he better run harder because they're about to have a football game against somebody who's bigger, faster, and stronger. There's so many people in the comments or that DM me or that contact me and want to go back and forth and ask a dumbass, extremely vague question like, how do I get ready for trial? You think I can really talk to you about everything about the ongoings? Are you really that stupid that you think preparing for trial is way less complicated than a final exam in a college course? You really think, like, look at some of these books right here. I got some legal books right here. You really think that you can go through there and find the specific answers you need, like the Rules of Professional Conduct? Like that book is like 400 pages long, and there's really 4 or 5 important pages on there. Would you rather go through that book, or would you rather pay a consult with me for me to go through the 4 pages that are important to you and break down what I understand about that and break down what has worked? Oh, but wait, James charges a few $20 bills, and that's really mean of him to charge and make money off of my pain and suffering. You were willing to totally trust a hustler, crook, and a con of an attorney who totally destroyed your case and screwed you over, but you're not willing to trust a fellow father who's been through what you've been through and came out conquering and winning for thousands of dollars cheaper. You already seen my videos giving you way 100 times more information than your attorney's ever given you in the past couple of years. And you're mad at me for wanting a few $20 bills so I can have enough money to survive and feed my kid and live while I'm giving information that attorneys charge for $400 an hour? You must be out of your damn mind. You guys are your own worst enemy sometimes. Here I am with all the information that you need to be able to win your case on your own without an attorney and save thousands of dollars. And your dumbass doesn't even think, maybe I should get a consultation with James. And you wonder why I get frustrated and upset. If I'm a football coach and somebody with 4.4 speed is supposed to be running a play and get the ball and run a sweep and run and outrun everybody, and he comes to the sideline and say, I can't, coach, I can't, and whines and cries, and you got the most talent on everybody on the team, but he doesn't want to exert any effort because mommy has been spoiling him. You don't think a coach would be frustrated with somebody like that? Some of you guys are failing to use the sense that God gave a monkey. Honestly, this is getting old. Because the reason why I'm doing this is because all week long, I've been dealing with guys who have talked to me for years and said they wanted to fight. And then they wanted to fight. And then they call me a few months later and say, I really want to fight this time. And then I'm like, okay, well, we need to sit down and do this. You need to take some time out. We need to have a consult. And I need this much money. And like, oh, and then some people are like, oh, you charge that much nowadays? You didn't charge that much 10 years ago when I first called you up. And they disappear for months. And then they call me back. I had a guy who called me, and I told him last year when the baby's mom moved out of state, you should act right now and get on the offensive. The guy could have had full custody by now if he would have. He probably might have won a default against her. But now he's so stupid and so lazy and shiftless and doesn't give a damn about his kids. He's so cowardly and ballless that now he calls me up because he really wants to see his kids now. And the state that the mother moved in has jurisdiction, so he might be screwed. Didn't listen to me the first time, second, third, or fourth time. And then he's asking me the same questions he asked before. And he's like, well, I got to get going. I'm on my way to work. So why are you calling me up wasting my damn time when you're on your way to work and you don't have a spot where you could write down and take notes? And I'm sitting here. You think you could just call up an attorney 5 different times and get free information from them and ask them the same thing because your punk ass doesn't want to do anything? I'm sick of my gender. I got women calling me up who aren't afraid to talk to me. I got guys making comments in the comments. Well, I was gonna like your video, but I didn't like the language you use. Then go talk to a nice attorney that steals thousands of dollars from you and gives you bad information and destroys your life for your kids, while I'm telling you to wake up and grow some balls and be a man and fight for your kid and get your kid like I did when I was totally lost. And see, the reason why I could talk like this is because I was totally lost and I didn't have a James Christensen help me out. And a bunch of you punk ass little sissy little crybaby wimps are whining and crying because you don't like my tone. Or because I'm not giving you enough free information. Or because you're too stupid to ask a good question the first time around. I mean, you're lucky that I'm even going back and forth and giving people some free information when I do. There's a lot of people who won't even give you the time of day because their time is valuable. And the more that I do that, the more that people crap on my time and they do stupid stuff. So people play stupid games. You're gonna get real answers from me. If you're not getting an appointment with me, you're a completely moronic dumbass. I've posted testimonials before. People have seen testimonials where people got one consult with me and got full custody or 50-50 the next week or within a month. And that's some success stories. But in my 20 years of doing this, every time a guy who sat back and got railroaded, once they got some balls and stood up like a man and fought for their kids like they would fight for a lost pet, or how they would hunt down and beat down anybody who steals their car, once they stand up for themselves and they stand up to the woman or the baby's mom that they've been a punk, sissy, whipped little coward, henpecked coward toward, once they actually stand up for themselves, 50% of them get the mother to settle in like a month or two on their terms or terms closer to something fair than with. I had a case where the mother moved out, she trashed the guy's place, and then she said, You're never going to see your kid again. I'm going to destroy your relationship with your kid. And the dad met up with me. He did it, set interrogatories this thick, filed a petition, and got on the offensive and started a case and was going for full custody. And the mother was crying and begging him, how come you're doing this to me? See, because the nature of women is to punk a guy. The nature of women is to dominate and control and rule over the man. It's the curse of Eve. Go read it in Genesis. Whether you believe in the Bible or not, it was there thousands of years ago, and it rings true today. And when you give into that, then a woman looks like, oh my God, this guy, he's a total little simp or a little wimp or a little henpecked little punk. I'm going to punk him some more. Now, it would be nice if women didn't create the drama and then turn around and then get mad at you because, men are just laid back and don't want any drama, or we're lazy and we just let it slide. And then the women disrespect us even more. But when it comes to fighting for your kid, like my baby's mom, I gave her one chance to earn my trust or respect, and she blew it. And same thing with her attorney, he blew it. Then the war was on, and there was no looking back. And I haven't talked to my baby's mom but 1 week in 20 years. But guess what? I've had my daughter. I got full custody of my daughter when she was 7 months old. And there's punk, little thin-skinned, little sissy cowards in the comments saying, I don't like the way you're talking to me. This isn't how I talk to people during consults. This is how I talk to people who want to pull my time and be a vampire and drain my time and ask me stupid-ass questions. And they gave a half-ass answer, and they're like, oh, well, there's no laws out here that help me. There's no information out here that help me. And I go and Google something, and I find it in 1 minute. You're punk-ass, lazy bum, brainless, no common sense that God gave a monkey, shiftless ass, is not doing jack squat, and you want somebody to hand you over a drive-through fast food, easy microwave answer for everything. You're your own worst enemy. It's time for you to stop doing the easy thing and just, poking at women and kicking out kids, and then all of a sudden you're mad that you need to exert an effort to stand up for your own rights because it's so easy to make kids. It should be so easy to have your kids, right? No, dumbass. The guy I told you that I talked to that guy off and on for over a decade. He's on his third baby's mom. And I'm still his go-to for like real answers, and he knows it, but he still doesn't listen to anything that I'm saying, and now he's royally screwed. I told the dude today, it was either today or I think it was yesterday. It's all running together. I pulled an all-nighter last night helping a guy rescue his kids from a potential child molester stepdad, because he actually wants to grow some balls and get on the offensive, and he's tired of getting punked. A lot of you guys just want to go back in the comments for back and forth for weeks at a time when you could have got an emergency order to get your kids yesterday. And you're sitting here dilly-dallying around. Some people like dilly-dally around with me in the comments or DMs and stuff. And I'll say, well, I would want to do a motion for reconsideration. And then we look it up in their state. Oh, the deadline was 10 days. Now you're on day 12 because you're such a punk ass, stupid, lazy bum coward, and you didn't have any sense of urgency to get going and fight for your kid and find out all the answers, that you missed the deadline, and now you just missed an opportunity. When I when I went to court, mother tried to get a restraining order. She lost. The court delayed it for a couple of weeks until we got to family court. Then we went back to restraining order court, and he said, did you get a parenting plan yet? We said no. In a couple more weeks, I finally got a hearing. He said, okay, restraining order temporary for just a couple more weeks. It falls off. Don't come to my courtroom again. Leave me alone. Go to family court. I get 0 visitation. 90% of you would have quit and tucked your tails and ran and huddled in a corner and curled up in a little ball and sucked your thumb and said, think of a happy place. Or you would have went to father's rights meeting and spooned with one of those guys and whined and cried about the system. And the father's rights movement hasn't done anything about the system in 50 years. All they want to do is protest with some wimpy little protest. Dads are people too. Stand outside the courthouse. Won't disturb the bubble. Won't call a judge out. Won't protest the judge in front of their home like I do for other cases and my own cases. Because guys don't care enough about their own case to protest. It takes a guy like me to want to protest and have some balls on their behalf. And my case is over. I'm done. I won. My daughter is 22 now. And you don't even want to fight while you're in the midst of the battle right now. You want some easy answers. You want some quickie answers. And here's James with all the answers you need. But the best way to get some answers is to do a consult. But people are too stupid. And then when I tell you, hey, get a consult. Hey, here's the link to reach out to me. Hey, text, call. Here's my phone number. People say in the comments, hey, I really could use your help. Reach out to me. DM me. No, punk ass. Get off your lazy freaking ass and you get some help. Do you go to Yelp and put in the comments, hey, I have a toothache. I'm in excruciating pain. Will you guys call me or come and visit my home and come pick me up? You won't do that in any area of life. But you turn into, you guys, it's insane how much you guys turn into fruity little coward, simp, limp-wristed little punk-ass bitches. And you expect somebody to come running and catering to you like a butler, and you don't have to put forth any self-effort. And you want some easy, quick answers, and you don't even want to scroll up and click them out. Like the way to contact me, if you click the link in my bio, you press a button, and boom, you can call me on your phone. When I was looking for help, I had to look through a phone book. And I turned down attorneys who said, you'll only get every other weekend. And I lived 3 blocks from the mom. I worked at night. I didn't take that for an answer. Most of you would have said, oh, that doesn't sound right, but okay, you're the professional. It doesn't sit right with my conscience, but I'm going to listen to everybody else except my conscience because I don't have any balls to stand up for myself, and I follow everybody else. Even though I'm a man and I should be a leader, I'm going to follow what some woman attorney says at some alleged father's rights firm, and I'm going to surrender my rights to my kid, and I want to be every other weekend visitor. I was like, screw that, hung up on their face. That was Goldberg and Jones. I have a video on them on my YouTube channel here where I'm exposing them. Most of you don't know that because most of you watch one video and say, oh, he talks so harshly. I don't like my feelings are hurt, so I'm going to go pay an attorney $100,000 to help me lose. This is the insanity that I see every day, all day long. And I mean, the people who are here, who are taking advantage of my resource, you guys are lucky that I'm still here because this is what causes fathers' rights leaders and group leaders and creators of fathers' rights advocates and groups out there to quit after 1 or 2 years. Because they're not going to change the system because, first of all, they're doing all the wrong things and wasting all their time and energy on the wrong stuff. And everybody's too stupid to figure out what the real answer is. But even if somebody wanted to do what the real answer is, everybody's a punk-ass little coward and won't do it anyway. And then guys are saying, well, I'm going to sue the judge and I'm going to sue the guardian ad litem. But you won't lift a finger to fight for your kid in your case right now. How are you going to have the energy to do all that? I have a guy who's stalking me because he was consulting with me and I was adamant about he had pictures of the mom assaulting him. And I said, make sure you bring that to the next hearing. What did he not do? He didn't bring his biggest piece of evidence to show that the mother was violent as court hearing. He didn't have time for it. Yet he had time to run to the daycare and run to the hospital where he was disrespected, and he was more, his ego had him caught up in wasting time in this direction and that direction and that direction. And his most important thing was to take the video that he had and turn it into still pictures and show that the mother was violent, and he had a case for custody. The next time after that he went to court, he signed an order giving the mother full custody and him every other weekend and her having sole decision making, and every phone call after that was a whine and cry and yelp and help for me to fix it because he gave her sole decision making. And he regretted it because she was putting the child in daycare that he didn't want, in a school that he didn't want for the kid, and all this kind of stuff. And he was powerless because he signed his own rights away because he didn't listen to a damn thing that I said. Now I'm kind of think that the guy is kind of, maybe he did some drugs because he sounds like his brain is a little fried. But still, the guy's spending all his time and energy on this, that, and that. You would think he'd spend time and energy on, let me make sure I don't sign an order that gives my rights away. Now, he said later, like, he didn't know what the hearing was about and stuff. Well, how the hell do you show up at a court hearing and you don't know what it's about? This is why my gender is its own worst enemy. Some of you guys are freaking stupid and you don't sit down and think. And me calling you stupid, I don't win anything. But if you wake the hell up and you stop making stupid decisions and playing stupid games and get off your ass and learn a couple things and stop being a punk little sissy coward and just signing stuff when a lawyer puts it in front of you because you want to appease everybody and you want to play Mr. Nice Guy, but then you go home to an empty house where your kid isn't there because you made a stupid ass decision because you were too lazy or you're too ballless to stand up for yourself and say, no, I'm not signing this. No, when my baby's mom offered full custody and finally surrendered, I still didn't sign my court order because they're like, here, sign here. And I'm like, where's her signature? And the attorney said, Oh, we'll get it later. I'm like, I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not signing something unless I see her signature on it too, so I can walk away with a copy. Most of you dumbasses would just sign it just because it says so, and they'll take your signature and they'll slip it into another order that destroys your rights. You are your own worst enemy. Fix it by, number one, stop being a lazy coward. Or stop being lazy. Number two, stop being a coward. Three, stop making stupid, rash, emotional decisions like an emotional basket case female if you're a father. This stuff is common sense. If you're falsely accused of a crime in criminal court, you don't cop a plea and agree you committed the crime and get mad later that, oh my gosh, they're punishing me for the crime I agreed to. No, you would use half a brain that God, in the common sense God gave a monkey, and realize that when I sign this, I run the risk of going to jail because I'm agreeing I committed the crime, to cop a plea and hope that it goes away, and I hope I don't get badly punished, but it's up to the judge what the punishment is. See, we know all these things with every other area of life, but when it comes down to our family and our kids, all of a sudden we get totally irrational. We throw our brains out the window. We throw our balls out the window, and we just want to just escape easily. That's not how this works. If you care about your kid, you're going to have to put some work into it, whether you got an attorney or not. Now, you're stupid if you got an attorney who sucks and you keep the attorney. I got proof that I won without a lawyer. I've helped hundreds of guys win without a lawyer. I got testimonials on a hashtag on Instagram about it. Sometimes you see comments where people are commenting on these videos on YouTube, proving that they, some random stranger said, I had a consultation with you, my hearing went great or whatever, or, I'm still fighting and struggling, but I'm still going to stay in there, and I was encouraged by you, even if they didn't win or whatever. There's no guarantee that you're going to win if you do what I did. But if you don't do what I did, it's a guaranteed loss. Some of you guys are like somebody who was a fat person who was on a fad diet, and it didn't work. And then you look on TV and you see a nutritionist who's ripped, and there's before and after pictures of him being 100 pounds overweight 5 months earlier. He went on a diet, he went on an exercise regimen, and now he's ripped. And he's saying, I'll offer, my program to you and some personal training, all this other stuff for this price, which is cheaper than your fad diet. And you're going to sit there and whine and cry and complain and say, I wish I could be like that. I wish this, I wish that. That sounds like great information. And then you put a comment on the YouTube channel like, how do I do it? And he's offering a program. Like, I don't offer a program. I offer one-on-one consults because that's the best way to find out what's going on in your case. Where are you at? Let's look up the laws. Let's look up this. Let's look up the argument. I have packets and resources in my store and all this other stuff. What is appropriate? Now, if I was a hustler and a con, I would find a way to sell everybody like 10 packets every time they talk to me. But I don't do that. I just had somebody who said he was willing to buy everything in my store. And I said, no, I'm not a hustler and con. I know at least 3 things you could use. And then I said, if you really want everything that I have, you definitely don't need any more than these 7 packets. These may help you down the road. And I'm honest with people. And people are still mad because I'm not perfectly nice in the comments. And I don't tiptoe through the tulips and gently encourage you to kind of come up out of your depression and all this stuff. And this stuff does inflict PTSD. This stuff does traumatize you. But when a war is going on, do you see people scrambling for a weapon and scampering to fight for their life? Or do you see people skipping and hopping saying, oh, it's a wonderful day. Just stay positive and everything will be fine. Maybe if we send flowers to Hitler, maybe he'll negotiate with us and we storm Normandy Beach with white flags and we wave them and everything. See, we turn into a bunch of fruity little simp, coward little punk bitches in this soft, gentle society. And I'm not all for being an alpha male and getting into a fight every time you have a conflict with somebody. But this right here, 90% of the time, all guys do is whine, cry, piss, and moan, and then they want an easy answer in the comments. They don't even ask a question in a complete sentence where I can understand what the hell you're talking about. Or you ask something so extremely vague, and you don't tell me where you're at or what you're doing. Like somebody says, oh, is there a law or requirement for do this? What freaking state are you in? You want me to go and look? You want me to baby you like your little 4-year-old and go look up every law in every state and list it for you, and then you get to pick? Why don't you just get off your lazy ass and have some self-awareness and some common sense and tell me what state you're in if you have a question? If you have a question, like it's got to be it's got to be likely that everybody watching my videos passed English in high school. All of you can't be English flunkies. Yet so many people ask, and it's not everybody, but and I'm expecting it. Only 1 out of 100 people who watches my videos is even going to contact me or make a comment. And then only 1% of those people are actually going to get a consult, because nobody has the balls to do anything about this, because everybody wants a freebie, or everybody thinks, oh, I have rights. And so, did black people have rights in Jim Crow South? Did Native Americans have rights early on in this country? Did Japanese people have rights when they were interned into concentration camps during World War II? Did women have equal rights that they have today back in the early 1900s? They frothed at the mouth and fought and didn't give up. Women got more balls than you men, who are whining and crying and hoping somebody else will start a father's rights movement to help you in your case. 99.99%, well, actually 100% of guys who told me, well, when I'm done with my custody battle, I'll support you and I'll help you and I'll be out there protesting, or I'll be there to volunteer and help. And 0% of those people who have said that are around. My gender's a bunch of punk-ass bitches. That's what it is. And if you're not a punk-ass bitch and you're fighting for your kid, then you won't get offended at what I'm saying. But if you are, you'll get offended, because you have to change something in order to fight for your kid. Now, if people who made comments or asked me a stupid question are offended and you're not going to call me or whatever, good. I don't want to talk to you. I do not want to talk to somebody who's not interested, or who doesn't want to fight, who doesn't want to learn. I got guys who do consultations with me, or they'll call me up. Like the guy I mentioned earlier. The mother's out of state. It's too late for him to claim jurisdiction in this state. Now he's got to go across the country to fight her, when he could have probably fought her, served her here at a last known address, and got a default and got full custody. His own dumbass and punk-ass, lazy cowardice, whatever caused him to not want to fight for his own flesh and blood that he created, caused him to get to a point where now his custody case is nearly impossible for him to deal with. Everything's possible, but he's going to have to put 100 times more effort into it now. And he didn't like it that I told him, dude, you got to make a decision. You keep calling me, asking me the same question. I keep giving you the same answer, and you're not listening, not doing anything. When are you going to fight for your kid? I'm not going to waste my time anymore talking to you so that you can do nothing but waste my time. How many of you out there are working free at your job? This is my job right now. And I'm helping people rescue their lives with their kids. And every day I have to fight off at least one person who's whining and crying, complaining, oh, you're charging money for people's pain and suffering. Yeah, so is a psychologist. So is a plumber. So is, a lawyer. So is a fireman. A fireman gets paid to come and put out a fire and rescue you. But the only one I know doing what I'm doing and helping people who are representing themselves in court is Judge Anthony. He charges $650 an hour because he used to be a judge. He was part of the system. He says the system's corrupt. He never did anything to fix it. He's not protesting it now. But what he's doing is extracting $650 an hour from you guys. And you guys would run to Judge Anthony a hot second because his title is judge. And he doesn't look like he's having any more the amount of testimonials that I'm having. Once a week he has a testimony. He shakes his booty, does a little dance. And I seem to get a testimonial every week. And he's got hundreds of thousands of followers, and I got a few thousand. Some of you need to wake the hell up out of your little, let me just take my sweet time. The reason, again, I say this is because I had a sense of urgency immediately to fight for my kid, and the war was on. Some of you guys, I talked to some guys who I've been trying to work with the mother since for the past 2 years. I tried to work with her. I tried to ask her. I tried to negotiate. How many more years are you going to negotiate with the terrorists? You negotiate once and they say no, then the war is on. You stupid, dumbed down, idiotic moron. What the hell are you doing? You know, if a parent tells a kid to clean their room and like, I'm tired, I didn't feel like it, I forgot, I this, you won't tolerate your kid doing that for very much longer. Yet some of you dads out there will make excuses for week after week and month after month of not standing up to your baby's mom, not fighting, paying somebody else to do it. And even if you have an attorney, you should be learning all of this stuff so you can light a fire under your attorney's rear. And all this harsh, real talk that is the same type of talk that you got from your football coach in high school, that you got from your manager at your job when you weren't performing, all of a sudden it hurts your sissy little, prissy little feelings, and you're mad that I'm not tiptoeing through the tulips and sending you a dozen roses and a beautiful, loving card with a poem saying, you can do it, come on. You know, one of these days you're going to be able to get back in your child's life. No, this is war. And I won my war because I got on the offensive from the beginning and I didn't even know what the hell I was doing, and it worked. And since I found out the formula that worked, and I've been sharing with people, thousands of other people who had some balls, including women who got more balls than most of you guys, applied what I'm talking about, and it worked, or they did better than what they did when they had an attorney because they fired their attorney and they decided to fight. Or they lit the fire under their attorney because they realize I'm the boss of my attorney. How many of you guys out there, I give this example all the time, especially on Instagram and TikTok videos, how many of you guys will hire a landscaper and they come one day and they do a half-assed job, and then you pay them to come back the next day, and then they don't show up the next day, and then they show up a few days later when it's inconvenient for you, when you're about to go out of town and you want to be in town monitoring, and they show up and say they're going to work on your house and they need to get access in and out of your house. They're like, no, I'm getting out of town. And then you give them money to come back the next week. How many of you would keep paying somebody who's not doing a job and you're the boss? Or even worse, you know, you tell the landscaper you want your yard edged into an oval, and they say, no, it'll look better as a rectangle. Say, no, I want an oval because I'm going to plant some trees here down the road or whatever. And then you leave and come back and it's a rectangle. That would be asinine if you tolerated that and kept paying somebody like that. But you're doing that with an attorney. You want to go for 50-50 and your attorney says, you don't have a chance. I'm going to go for every other weekend. Then they set the bar so low, this is what you're tapped out at. And then you're so stupid. The mother's a child abusing psycho with a boyfriend who's got domestic violence in his history, and he's toxic to your kids. The mom is toxic, and she was suicidal at one point, and she said she's going to destroy your life with the kids, and you're only asking for every other weekend. You just said she's a wonderful mother, and then you go to court and said, well, she's toxic and all this other stuff, and the court's like, then how come you're proposing that she have full custody? Your whole argument doesn't make any sense because you're all over the map, because the thing that will get you custody is proving that the mother's toxic, abusive, or has abusive boyfriends, and your dumbass attorney says, well, don't say that. That'll make you look bad because you're being aggressive, calling the abuser an abuser. Like, what prosecutor has a child molester or rapist, and they say, well, we're not going to call them a child molester or rapist. We hope that the jury will just guess at that. We'll play nice and we'll win points by play. You call a spade and point it out, and that's how you win, especially if the law says if the other parent is abusive, if they undermine your parenting and won't work with you, or if they're a child abuser or they live with somebody who's a child abuser, those are factors to give you custody, and you're not going to argue that because your attorney makes up some stupid radical feminist culture bullcrap that you're not supposed to bring up your evidence that helps you win. And you're so stupid, you think that makes sense only because it comes from a lawyer. You know deep down it doesn't make sense. Your conscience, it doesn't sit right with your conscience. You know it defies common sense. But you're such a man-pleasing little bitch that you can't stand up for anything, so you bow down and cater to whatever your attorney says while you're the boss of the attorney and they work for you and their allegiance is to you, yet you pay them $400 an hour to sell you out. And then I tell people, tell your attorney this. Here's the rules of professional conduct. I got free videos on it. I do one-on-one consultations. I have a packet with demand letters of how to demand. And then everybody does that stuff, and the attorney says F you and punks you, and you back down, and then you keep continuing to hire them, just like the landscaper who doesn't even show up half the time or doesn't answer your calls. You continue to pay them. You wouldn't do that in any other area of life except this. And because radical feminism runs the court system, you bow down to it. And then you're like, well, this is the way the system is and it's unfair. Think about anybody like Native Americans or Asians and who got reparations for the Japanese internment camps, the Tuskegee experiment on black people, or just people dealing with Jim Crow South period, Martin Luther King getting arrested. What if they were punk ass bitches like you? Nothing would ever change. It takes somebody to actually stand up to stuff. Here I am standing up to stuff and giving information out to people that's free. There's $50,000 worth of free information on all my pages. And people are still whining and crying that I want a few $20 bills for one-on-one specialty consults. You guys are your own worst enemy. You need to wake the hell up. And I'm telling you this in hopes that you do wake up. But if you don't, that's your problem, because I'm going to be good. I got my daughter. I won. I got clients who were willing to fight and win. I got clients who call me up. They see one video and like, I need to talk to you. When can I talk to you? Immediately. How do I pay? Boom. No questions. Those guys usually win in court and win right away. I had a guy who called me. He found my videos the night before, 2 days before a contempt hearing down in Georgia. The mom deprived him of the kid for a few months. He calls me up, said, I need to talk to you as soon as possible. Can you talk tonight? I was talking to him at 10 o'clock at night, my time, 1 o'clock Georgia time. We prepped for the hearing. He destroyed the mother's attorney. He got makeup time. He got all the time that he missed for a few months. And some of you dumbasses are like, well, I'm just building my case for contempt and writing it down in a diary. If your car is stolen, do you write it down in a diary or do you call the cops? Wake the hell up. God, you guys, some of you guys are so stupid or cowardly. You think you're building a case while you're sitting. See, some of you are so mentally lost. Now, I understand you get thrown off kilter because of the PTSD that comes with getting blindsided. But at some point, you got to wake the hell up. If we get bombed by Canada, yeah, that'll rock our world and shake us up. And we'll feel like, man, I got Canadian family. I love Canadians. I don't know why they're doing this to me. I feel betrayed. But then it's time to get up and fight and kill or be killed. But for some reason, family court was like, I'll just write it down because my brother's cousin's sister's dog trainer's mother's sister's brother said that he went to family court one time 15 years ago and he wrote stuff down and it helped. How did it help? I don't know. He didn't say. Did he win? I don't know. I think he got it every other weekend. Because she offered it and he didn't have a fight. We're talking about you fighting right now. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about when you talk about all these other people. I Googled it and somebody said something. Well, I'm here on this page with my winning court orders proving to you that I won in the Court of Appeals. I won my first contempt. I defended contempt. I defended restraining orders. I got 5 days a week visitation. I destroyed attorneys with 17 and 50 years of experience. I destroyed guardian labs. And some of you guys go, wow, look at all this information James had. I'm not going to get an appointment with him because I'm a stupid dumbass. I'll just ask him a question in the comments and then I'll know everything that I need to know in my family court case. You see how stupid you are? It's time to stop being stupid, people. And I'm calling it what it is. That when I've had videos where I've sounded like I was being harsh, I was actually being nice. But this stupidity is going on for far too long. And I'm not going to waste my time answering stupid, vague questions. And people go back and forth. And I ask a specific question and they halfway answer me. Or they lie. I'll tell somebody, what's the law or court orders in your state? Oh, there is none. And you didn't even look. And you know, a guy answered me by saying, well, the guardian lied to him and the judge and this person said that this is the way that it is. I didn't ask what some evil, dumbass, corrupt people in the system said, you idiot. I asked what the law said. Did you look up the law? And your answer is you bounce it off of these corrupt people who ignore the law. That's like saying, what's the best business practices? And then I say, well, what are the laws? And then you go and talk to the mafia on your block. They're not going to give you the legal business practices that they follow, you stupid, moronic idiot. So why are you talking to the mafia in the court as a source instead of looking up the law yourself? If you're playing a Monopoly game and you're arguing over what a move is or chess, like what the bishop and the rooks can do, and there's a controversy, do you ask Brother Bill or, you know, so-and-so, or do you look in the actual rule book that has the rules? You guys are lucky that I'm even sticking around doing this stuff. Because some of you stupid, dumbed down, ballless, moronic, crybaby little bitches are aggravating enough to make me not want to do this stuff. I'm sitting here helping you, and I got answers for you, and you're too stupid to get a consultation. And then when All my videos and all the links in my bio have the way to contact me. Some people are still saying in the comments, hey, reach out to me. I need help, or DM me. And then I don't even know how to contact you because you have a private account or whatever. You're so stupid you sabotage your own chance to get information. But those people are fly by the seat of their, a fart in the wind. They look at stuff like, oh, what he says sounds good. And they have a momentary emotional epiphany of like, I should do that. And then they just disappear. Just like they had an emotional moment where they had a kid in a one night stand, and then they don't care until the mother tries to take the kid away or get him on child support. It's you punk ass bitches that are making it harder for guys who really want to fight. And I'm being nice when I say this because you losers just want it to go away, or just want somebody to wave a magic wand. You don't want to have to fight. I went through hell to get custody of my daughter, and I was totally in the dark. And I am giving you guys 100 times the information that I had when I got full custody without a lawyer. And you're going to whine and cry that you don't like the tone that I'm saying? Like you hear about your grandparents, your uncle say, oh, we used to walk through 3 feet of snow for 5 miles to get to school, and you guys don't want to go to school when there's an inch of snow. There's some truth to that because the older generations were tougher. But there's a whole lot of truth to what I'm doing right here, because I'm showing you my winning court orders and what I went through, and you see my court orders signed, and it's me versus a guardian ad litem, an attorney with 17 or 50 years experience, and I school and destroy them in court. And all some guys want to do is argue with me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not going to get into stuff like that. I just blow those people off or block them. I have guys who get on my page and say, well, you had it easy because you got custody. No, I went through hell to get there. Just like any hater little bitch who is mad because somebody came out of their neighborhood and they made it, and then they're moving on and they're living in a rich neighborhood. Like, you didn't come back and rescue us. Punk, why do I have an obligation to rescue you? But here I am, giving you all kinds of free information. And you can be rescued, like a lot of people. Hundreds and hundreds of dads have gotten full custody without a lawyer and put on their own trials by doing the stuff that I talk to them about doing. There's some guys who watch my free videos and have gotten full custody without ever having a consult with me. I saw a guy from Chicago on a podcast in Europe telling the European guy, yeah, I watched that How I Got Custody guy, and I went to court and watched some court hearings, and I did my research, and I got full custody of my kids. I never did one consultation with that guy. He watched all my videos. So you can do that, but you don't have to. You don't have to spend months and months studying all my videos. You can have a one consultation. See, that's what happens in life. You pay somebody to speed up the time it takes you to do something yourself. Like, you could do a transmission overhaul on your vehicle. It'll probably take you 5 months doing all the research and watching YouTube videos and shipping another transmission and all that other stuff. Or you can pay somebody hundreds of dollars to do it and have it done in a week. That's how life works. But for some reason, men turn into a bunch of fruity little haters who get mad because I want a few $20 bills for a consult, and it's too hard for you to do that, and you'd rather go back and forth and spend a total of an hour talking to me about what a consultation entails and all this other stuff. First of all, watch my free videos. You see that I know what I'm talking about. Look at my winning court documents. A consultation involves us talking about your case. Look at the testimonials I have. A consultation involves you learning everything you need to know about your case to help you win. It's pretty obvious, because I got people who, like the guy in Georgia, who saw one video and knew I knew what the hell I was talking about, and he called me up and needed to talk to me immediately, and he destroyed the mother in court, destroyed the attorney. Not only did he get her found in contempt, she got fined, and he had makeup time where he had every weekend for the next 3 months to make up for his every other weekend that he missed for a few months. Not only did he do all that, but the judge warned her, you're going to go and fix the tweaks in the parenting plan where there's confusion and come back here. I'm going to throw you in jail for 17 days. And all that guy needed was a consult to me. Like, he had the gumption to do some things, that's the number one obstacle, is your mindset. If you don't have your mind made up that you're going to fight for your kids and you're a punk sissy coward who's afraid of another human being because they got a robe on. And some of you say, well, they got the power to do this and that. They got the power to do what? You don't even know what they got the power to do because you're too much of a lazy bum and you haven't even searched it. Have you looked at the Code of Judicial Conduct, the oath of a judge, the best interest of the children? Have you looked at all the case law that applies in your case? Because you could tell the judge what they have to do if you know case law from the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals in your case. Have you even looked at my FLOWPAGE that has a Troxel versus Granville case? Have you looked at the scientific data that's there for free to download as use as exhibits? No. You haven't taken advantage of all my free resources, but you want to sit here and argue with me about what you should do. If you're still arguing with me, you're still mad, then you're just a punk ass bitch that'll never win in court, and you need to quit on your kids and save yourself an ulcer. But if you're stirred up and say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being a sissy, I'm sick and tired of not doing anything, I have been lazy, I've been shiftless, let me call James to get a consult, then I'm ready to go to war with you. I'm ready to help you get on this battle and get your kid. That's what I'm here for. But since I've been doing this, just like anybody else who stood up for a cause, 90% of the country was not there during the Revolutionary War. Not only 7% took up arms. When Martin Luther King was marching, he didn't have 50 million people marching with him. He had like a dozen. Most people don't want to fight for anything if it takes them out of their comfort zone. But see, when it's time for you to fight for your kid and you're losing out on your kid, you should at least want to do it on your case. I'm out here going to my city hall and complaining to them about stuff the police have done to 2 other guys in my city, along with, them not arresting an ex-girlfriend of mine who violated my protection order 5 times, including harassing my daughter. So I'm still going to protest them because I got balls and I continue to stick to stuff because nobody's going to listen to you when you just complain one time on a YouTube video. They're going to listen to you when you get into their bubble and poke their bubble and disturb their bubble and disturb them at town hall meetings, and you're a thorn in their side. The lady who came begging for bread from a neighbor in the middle of the night got bread because just to make her go away because she was so annoying, he gave her some bread. That's an ancient old biblical verse. Because of her importunity, not because he really cared about her. He's like, if this chick would just go away, all it takes is to give her some bread to go away, I'll give it to her to go away. A lot of you go to court one time, you do one thing and you lose and you quit and whine and cry because you lost. I lost 5 times before I got my 5-day-a-week visitation with my 3-month-old infant. I've rarely ever heard of a guy getting 5 days a week visitation with a 3-month-old. And I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know that this getting on the offensive strategy even worked. All I knew was to fight for my kid and to love my kid and have balls to stand up for my rights for my kid and not quit. And if I was to lose, I was going to go down swinging, and I was going to be able to face my daughter when she was 18 and say, hey, I fought for you. If you're crying about me not being in your life, go talk to your mom, because look at this stack of papers that goes up to the moon. Go look at the court file. I've been in and out of court for 18 years of your life fighting for you. I was willing to do that. Most of you go to one court hearing, you're devastated that you lost, and you want to quit like a little bitch. And if you don't like the way I'm talking, go watch a David Goggins video. Type in snake diet or a Cole Robinson diet. Look at any of these alpha males or any guys who are successful or any business owners or CEOs or motivational speakers nowadays. You know what they tell people nowadays? Your feelings don't mean crap. Get up and do it anyway. And some of them, like David Goggins, like he said it himself. I was fat. I was dumb. I had to work twice as hard than other kids. That's just the way it is. Sometimes you're stupid. You got to work harder. But one day when I was struggling and feeling sorry for myself, I found out what my main problem was. I was just being a bitch. David Goggins' whole thing is you don't feel like doing something, you do it anyway. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it anyway. Kobe Bryant talks about, a summer when he, achieved another level of greatness. He made a contract with himself. This is my summer plan, my summer workout to work on these skills and improve myself. And there's days he didn't feel like it. And he said, I'm going anyway. I made the deal. This is what I'm doing. And then when you go and do what you want to do, you guys go to work 5 days a week. You don't feel like it. And when you get that paycheck, it feels pretty good that you got that paycheck and it was worth going there and not getting fired. Is your kid worth more than a paycheck? When you lose your dog, You decide on a Saturday you're not going to go watch college football at the bar all day. You're going to go post signs saying lost dog, reward $500. You're willing to sacrifice some money, but you're not willing to do that for a kid. You complain to James, who's won over and over in family court and helped thousands of guys win and do better without an attorney. You complain to me that I want a few $20 bills, but you'll go out of way for your dog. I mean, if your kid was kidnapped by a total stranger, you wouldn't sit around and wait for somebody else to rescue your kid. Think about this. If you're at a swimming pool and a lifeguard is not getting off the thing, or you're at a beach and you're screaming at the lifeguard, hey, hey, and they're not listening to you, you'll just go out and get your kid, right? But you won't do it now because the kidnapper or that shark-infested waters is in the mother's territory, and you're a punk-ass, coward, scared little bitch because you obey the mother because you got this Jezebel witchcraft mind spell over your head that causes you to be paralyzed and you can't stand up to your baby's mom because you're a little feminized, simp, whipped little bitch. And you have this paranoid fear. And I talk to guys about, why don't you just keep your kid longer? Oh, she'll call the cops. What can the cops do? I don't know, Amber Alert. What's an Amber Alert usually? Somebody who has a restraining order or a total stranger who kidnapped the kid. Not you, dumbass. What's the law that you'd be violating? I don't know. Did you ever take the kid to the park by yourself before for a few hours? Yeah, but that was when we were living together and it's okay with her. Okay, so what's the difference now? She doesn't approve. And like, why does she get it? Where does the law say that the mother controls the kid and gets to order you around? I don't know. It's just what I heard. So you'll surrender your life to your kid and control and act like a little slave little bitch because of a rumor that you heard and you don't know what the hell you're talking about? And then I'll tell a guy, why don't you just call the cops on her for keeping the kid all week long? Well, I tried to call the cops and they can't do anything. You punk-ass, stupid-ass airhead. You just told me you're scared she'll call the cops. And then you just admitted the cops can't do anything. See, you have a fear in your head. And fear causes people to flee when nobody pursues you. Fear causes you to be mentally ill and irrational. Wake the hell up, people. Either you want to fight for your kids or you don't. If you see my stuff and that doesn't inspire you, the first time I saw a guy know what he was talking about, I went to a Dads of Washington, which is a branch of Dads America, Dads Against Discrimination. Dads America had a chapter in Washington. I went to their monthly meeting for free, and I give you guys $50,000 worth of free meetings every day that you can access on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok that Dads America didn't have. This was once a month they had a meeting, and I listened to this guy talk at a meeting, Bob Carls, and I knew I needed to have a consult with him, so I walked up to him with schedule it, and I paid the $25 that he gave to get 1/100th of the information I'm sharing with you guys. Literally 1%. I didn't complain at all. I was just glad I saw somebody who had some kind of answers and was talking with some balls. And you guys wanted, oh God, James would just change his style. I'd be willing to talk to him. I got answers to help you rescue your kid. Or do you want to get them and rescue your kid? Or do you want to be all flowery and sugary and pretty? You're a punk ass sellout to your own kid. If you don't want to get the answers that I have because you don't like the delivery in some video. This isn't even a consultation. Like, I'm not calling anybody's name out. If you're triggered and hurt by a video, turn it off. Unless you're a prissy little dude with feminine tendencies where you want to control another guy and how he speaks and want it to be all delicate like we're boyfriend and girlfriend. Now, I'm not going to talk to you like this during a consult, but I'm here to wake people the hell up. If you don't wake the hell up, that's your problem. But I'm going to spend less and less time talking stupid to stupid people, ask stupid questions in the comments. If you ask a half-assed question or if you ask a vague question about how do I win the entire battle, and you're too stupid to schedule a consult to learn everything that you need to know to fight, you don't want to fight in the first place. That's what I'm going to assume, because I don't got time to waste. I got too many people who do want to talk, and I'm trying to find them and sift through all the punk-ass bitches. So if you're a man or a woman with balls, which there's more women with balls percentage-wise than men, because I get women who are getting royally screwed that call me up and ask for help and information and want it despite how harsh I talk. And they're like, I need some real talk anyway. And I don't talk like this to people in consultations. Sometimes I have to be firm with them on some certain stuff, because if they're like, I can't. One time I had a consult with the guy, and he told me at least 5 different times, I can't do that, James. I'm just too much of a pussy. Well, don't ever go outside, because life sucks too. Don't apply for a job because you're scared you might not get it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Okay. I shouldn't even have to do a video like this, but I have to because my gender's a bunch of whipped little sissy little punks who are stupid, and they could easily get it's like, I want to learn something about astronomy. There's an astronomy class at the college that I'm in. Should I sign up for the astronomy class? Or should I just go and talk to the professor and see if he'll give me a bunch of free information outside of me paying for the class? That'd be stupid. Here I am. There's answers here. Come get them or don't get them. Simple as that.